Happy Monday evening, friends. Hopefully your Monday wasn't too much of a Monday. Thank you for joining my Facebook Live tonight. I'm going to take just a second here and hop over and see if I can get the live video stream up on my laptop so that I can see your comments, because here in a few minutes I'm going to turn my camera on my phone down so that you guys can watch me make this chalkboard, but I still want to be able to see your comments. So hopefully if I get this brought up, I'm going to be able to, I got it, I think. Okay, so I'll try to watch on my laptop for your comments as we go along, and then I'll use my phone for you guys to watch me. First thing I want to tell you guys is that you've probably noticed the last couple of days I have shared with you guys a couple of different chalkboards. One that I made for my nephew and niece's house to hang in their dining room, and then the one that I shared earlier this evening is my daughter-in-law Kayla's that she's got hanging in her kitchen, that's actually made, kind of repurposed, out of a chunky, really cool looking frame that she and I painted, and she's got that hanging in her kitchen. So I wanted to come on tonight and show you guys how you can make a chalkboard for yourself. I chose to do something a little smaller because I know not all of us have the wall space that like Rachel has at her house for the great big chalkboard, and maybe not even as big as what Kayla's is. So I thought I would show you guys how we can do a smaller chalkboard that maybe you could use in your kitchen, dining room, or whatever, if you've just got a small area that you could stick one. I think they're cute in a laundry room too, so whatever would work. But what I wanted to show you guys first, I'm going to go ahead and move. Hi Joetta, thank you for hopping on, my dear sweet cousin. I'm going to turn my camera, and Joetta dear, since you're on, can you tell me, type a comment and tell me if you can see this okay? And I'm going to hop over here and see if I can hopefully see your comments. Let me see, I'm going to have to turn it on my laptop again. It's not wanting to cooperate. Joetta dear, hang with me real tight here. Let me see if I can get back over here so I can see your comment. So, I don't know. It looks like to me, I think you guys can see. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you're having trouble seeing, type me a comment so I can make sure and reposition the chalkboard so that you guys can see. So here's what I did. I was at Hobby Lobby today, guys, and if you remember a couple of weeks back, I told you that they were having like a 60% off sale on a lot of their summer items, and a lot of that has now gone to 80 and 90% off. So I was there today and actually found this sign that was $24.99 and 80% off, so I paid $4.99 for this sign. Because I like the frame. I thought the frame is really cool, would go with a lot of different decor styles. So I decided that I would buy this to show you guys tonight. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm really going to cheat. I mentioned earlier tonight on the chalkboard that I shared that, that you could do the repurposed chalkboard by purchasing really thin plywood or it's like a smooth paneling MDF board, something like that. But if you buy a sign like this, like I did today, this is even simpler because look, just turn to the back side. And what I've done, I'm going to turn this over and show you guys. This was actually just attached to the frame, like most of the signs that you buy at like a Hobby Lobby or Kirkland's. It's just got these little staples that are holding it in. So I just took a household screwdriver and popped the staples up so that, and I let them so that I can bend them back down when I reattach the chalkboard to the frame. So I left those in place, but I just opened those up enough that I could get the actual sign out. So we're going to go ahead and set the frame aside for a few minutes. And then what I did, guys, and you can kind of see here the little dark discoloration, that's where the stickers were on the back. So let me see here. Oh, hi Lana, I'm glad you're watching, Brooke's grandma. And Brooke, your grandma, she's Well, she's just kind of getting older, so you'll have to forgive her for misspelling your name. That's awesome. Anyway, what I did to remove the stickers is, and I've been doing this for a few years now, I actually saw this tip online. It works great. So anytime you buy anything at the store and there's a sticker on, the side of your candle or in the back of, your item and you want it off, if you will take a hair dryer and just hold the hair dryer down as you begin to peel, it heats that glue up and just takes it right off. And on this, I got super lucky because it took glue and all. There's no sticky residue left behind. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and start doing the chalk paint. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our chalkboard paint and give it a good stir. And guys, anytime you're painting anything, you always want to make sure you get your paint mixed up really, really well. The colors will kind of separate on you in the paint. Things will settle on the bottom, paint, stain, polyurethane. Anytime you're getting ready to use a product like that, you're going to want to make sure that you get it stirred up good. So I'm going to stir this, and this one's not going to be too terribly bad. Hi to my sweet friend Becky. Thank you for joining. And guys, I can't even see who all's on. I think I see Tracy, and I'm not sure, maybe Tammy. Tammy, I think that's your face. Thank you, girls, for hopping on. I can't see because of the way my phone is tilted, and on my laptop, it doesn't tell me who's joined the live video because the live video is happening over on my phone. So unless you comment, I don't know you're there. But anybody that I've missed, thank you guys so much for hopping on and watching tonight. Okay, and this chalkboard paint has been stirred really well in the last couple of days because this is what I use to do Rachel's chalkboard, which is the big chalkboard. And I don't know if I told you guys the size of that chalkboard in her dining room. It's the one that's hanging beside her new green barn door. That was a 4-foot by 3-foot chalkboard. So it's a pretty good sized chalkboard. Our chalkboard, I don't know, this is maybe 14 inches or so by 14, I would guess. So, and guys, you just want to use a good paintbrush. I'm trying to think, you could probably even use a sponge brush. I haven't used a sponge brush with chalkboard paint, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So you could do a sponge brush and just throw it away when you're done. But in between coats, your sponge brush and your regular paintbrush, I've shared this tip with you guys many times, I know, but I'm going to share it again. In between your coats, you can actually stick your paintbrush inside of a plastic bag, like a Walmart or Target bag, and just kind of wrap it around tightly and leave it in that bag. And it will stay moist enough that you don't have to clean it in between uses, especially if you're going to be doing a project over several days. And I knew that I wanted to hop on and do a chalkboard project with you guys tonight, so I did not clean my brush when I finished with Rachel's chalkboard. I just wrapped it up actually in a Dollar General bag and left it in that until we were ready to go tonight. So you're just going to want to put on, as you guys can see, one tip that I always teach everybody that comes to my painting classes. I think one of the problems that I've seen people make over the years when they are trying to do a DIY like home decor project is getting way too much paint on your paintbrush. And then you kind of end up with globs of paint, literally globs of paint everywhere. And to try to smooth that out or to get that to look nice becomes a difficult task. So it's always best, and I'm going to show you guys on this one. If you notice, I dip my brush into, you guys can't, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this over. I dip my brush into the paint, and then I drag, and I'll just do it again. On this, I'm probably going about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch into the paint, and then I drag the back of my paintbrush against the paint can as it's coming out. And ideally, guys, you probably should pour this in a different plastic cup or an old vegetable can or something like that that's clean, of course, instead of paint right out of the bucket, because you get this dried up paint around the edges, and sometimes those can flake off in your paint. So you might not want to do it exactly how I'm doing it. You might want to pour this into something else. But whatever that something else is, just drag the back of your brush against the side of the container to get that excess paint off before you start doing your actual brush strokes. And that works out really, really well. So we're just gonna go through here and do nice, even, thin coats, guys. Paint looks best anytime, whether you're doing a chalkboard or you're redoing a dresser, a nightstand, piece of furniture, whatever. The thinner paint coats always look best. If you've got to put 3 thin coats on, I promise you it's going to look much, much better than trying to put 1 thick coat on, because it's going to dry uneven. You're going to end up with the little, puddles of paint, paint runs, drips, and you're not going to be happy with your final product. So just make sure you do light strokes, and we're not going to get too worried about if we've got a streak or a little pinhole peeking through that doesn't have paint on it on this first coat, because we're going to wait just a minute and give it another coat. So there's that. And actually, I think I'm going to cheat. I brought my hairdryer in, and I'm going to dry this. One thing I've noticed about the chalkboard paint, guys, I bought, and I'm going to turn this around where you guys can see it, the Rust-Oleum brand. I think I got this at Home Depot, but I like the Rust-Oleum brand because the thing I notice about it, and honestly, I don't know that I've used other brands, so I can't really say, but I do like this because it's really drying pretty quickly, and that's nice because you can get back to your second coat a lot sooner. But I'm going to go ahead and take the hairdryer like they do at the paint counter, so you guys probably aren't going to hear much except my hairdryer going for a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and get this going and see if we can get this dry so I can go ahead and put the next coat on for you guys. Okay, sorry that was a little noisy. I'm going to let that air dry for just another minute. I'm going to turn the camera back up for a second and talk to you guys for just a second here. If I can get my phone to stay where I need it to, and it doesn't want to, but anyway. One of the things that, another idea I had that you guys could do, if you go to Hobby Lobby and you don't find an amazing deal like I found for $5 to do this cute little chalkboard, you can also look at thrift stores, resale shops, garage sales, something your neighbor's throwing away, whatever. And if you find, I know I see a lot of like the old home interior style pictures and prints and things at different places like that. You could buy even one of those and take the glass out and then use the actual picture just like I'm doing here and do your chalkboard on the back side, or if it's a smooth surface even where the picture is, just paint over that and put your chalkboard directly on it. So you can come up with, if you wanted one of the larger chalkboards, that's pretty inexpensive. If you find a really good deal on a large frame, then you could have yourself a pretty good sized chalkboard and not have a lot of money in it. So I want to make sure I mention that to you guys too. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera back down. Hello, I'm trying to see here. Hi Francis and Linda, thank you gals for hopping on. I'm going to turn this back down so that you guys can see the chalkboard, and we're going to go ahead and put our second coat on. And guys, 2 coats is what I normally do on a chalkboard. If you want to put 3, you can, but I've always just done 2 coats and it seems to work fine. So, and I think, actually it's been a while since I read the back of the can, to be honest with you, but I think it's recommended 2, and maybe it says, you know, you could optionally put 3, but I think 2 is what they recommend, and I would recommend the same thing because you do want to have a pretty good chalkboard surface there. for doing your chalkboard writing and art on. And another thing I want to mention to you guys, and a lot of you may already know this, but if you don't like the mess the actual chalk makes, they now have chalk markers that are really cool because they look like chalk when you use them to draw or to write on your board, but they're actual markers and you don't get all the chalk dust. So that's actually pretty nice. So I'm just kind of straighten my brush strokes, do some even strokes back over it so you don't see a bunch of brush lines. But anyway, the chalk markers might be something that you want to check into because those are pretty handy. And guys, I can also tell you while I'm painting this that I apologize to you guys because I've had lots of things going on with family and grandbabies and spending time with them for the last couple of weeks. So I haven't gotten on live as much. So hopefully I can get into a routine here and have a different thing for you guys each week that I can show you, some crafty thing or repurpose thing or decorating idea or whatever, but just start spending more time with you guys on live video. I like this because I feel like it gives you guys an opportunity to ask me questions about the process while you're watching me do the process. So, okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to put my brush back in its bag so it won't dry out on me. And I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on my paint because I know myself and I don't want that dumped over on my laptop or on our product. Okay, I'm going to turn the hairdryer on again, guys, so bear with me so we can get this dry. Okay, I think that looks good enough, and I am going to let that dry just a little bit more. And while it's drying, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the larger chalkboard that I made for Rachel the last few days. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram story or the my Facebook story, because I shared it there too, of just some tips as kind of trying to document the process a little bit as Larry and I were going through it and making that chalkboard. But if you want one of the larger chalkboards, you can go and buy a piece of plywood, and actually Home Depot has plywood already cut, you know, in certain sizes. I can't remember all the different sizes they have. So you could get lucky enough that they've got the size that you want already pre-cut. But if not, just buy a thinner piece of plywood and make sure you get one that's got a really good smooth side on at least one side of the plywood. And we're going to pretend like this small chalkboard is your big piece of plywood. So the very first thing I did is I went through and I felt the plywood and made sure it was smooth. And there were a couple of places that there were some little pieces, you know, almost splinters sticking up. So I just took sandpaper and I sanded those down, and then I brushed the area off and wiped it down with a cloth to make sure that I got all the sawdust off. And then I used the chalkboard paint and painted it just like I did the smaller board. And then we actually used the cedar fence pickets, the 6-inch ones, which are really more like 5.5 inches wide. And we just ripped it down the middle on the table saw and then just measured. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what you would do if you wanted to make a larger one. So after you take, and you don't have to do the fence picket, guys, if you don't have a table saw or a way to rip that, you can actually buy 1 by 1 inch thick lumber that's already cut to like 2 inches wide. So you could even just pick that up at the lumber store and use that for your frame part. And then what we did is I stained the boards before we cut them and attached them to our chalkboard so that I didn't have to try to tape off on my freshly painted chalkboard. I was afraid it would peel the paint off or leave some residue. So I stained my boards ahead of time. So we stained the boards before we attached them. And what we did is we decided that we wanted the old school look. So we measured from this edge of the board to this edge of the board at the top and the bottom and cut those boards to fit. And then I'm going to use my stir stick to show you guys. So pretend this is the board. So it's laying on your chalkboard here and at the top. And then you would come in between those two and you would measure from the bottom of your top board to the top of your bottom board and figure out what that distance is, and then cut 2 boards to go there. And that's how you kind of get your picture frame look, if you will. You could also cut your corners at 90-degree angles if you want, but we really wanted, which I'll show you guys, that's how this frame is done. I don't know if you guys, you can see it better on this side. You see, these have a 90-degree cut. You can do this look if you want to, but we opted to just do the squared off corners, which I like better as far as it just looking like it maybe was something back from a piece of history. So we cut ours in the squared off manner instead of doing the 90-degree angles. And then the next thing we did is we did a dry fit, which if you guys saw my Instagram story, Facebook story, you know I mentioned this a couple of different times, and it's very important when you're doing a DIY project that involves you know, putting things together with glue, nails, screws. Once you've done that, take it from me, it's real hard to get that back apart. So one thing that you can do before you actually glue and screw things together or glue and nail things together is do a dry fit. So we laid all 4 of the boards down and we looked to make sure that, you know, one board wasn't too long or one board wasn't too short. So we laid all 4 boards down at the same time and looked at them. And when we were happy with them, then we started picking up 1 board at a time. And on the back side of the board, we put wood glue. We like to use Titebond because Titebond works really, really well. So we put our glue on the back, and then I actually just use my finger. I don't think you're really supposed to do that, guys, but that's what I do. So I just take my finger and I just smooth it out on the back side of the board, and that way it covers all the surface. You could use a foam brush for that, but I just do it, I don't know, my way, and that's use my finger. And then immediately I have a wet rag and I get that off because I'm sure it's not really good for your skin. So once we have the glue on, we put the board back down, and then we just used our nailer, our little nail gun to shoot nails in, and we repeated that same process for the other 3 boards, and that's how we made the large chalkboard. So that's how you would do that if you wanted to make your own, maybe a larger size, maybe you can't find a frame somewhere, or you just like the look of the old school simple boards, which is what I like. And that's one of the other reasons I was drawn to this sign that I picked up at Hobby Lobby today, is I love just the simplicity of it. I think it looks great, and I think that the white just goes with any kind of decor style. So now that our chalkboard is good and dry, what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure you guys see me. I've got the hanger is at the top, and when I purchased it, we know that this was also at the top. The way the words are, probably backwards to you guys, but and I think this really is square, but if it wasn't exactly square and I tried to put the board back in the frame, if I had it in the wrong way, it wouldn't go. So I'm just going to put it back in the way it came, which means that the writing would face up, which I know is backwards to you guys. Anyway, so now I'm just going to put this back in, and of course I'm sure it's not going to be as simple as I was hoping because we're doing a live and it's going to make me work at it, I'm sure. So if you guys see, I'm just using my screwdriver to get this back in. I got this out really easy, of course, guys. Okay, we're going here. I just got a couple that are being kind of hard on us. So I'm just going to put it back in the same way I took it out. And then I should have gotten a hammer before, and I forgot that. But I'm just going to use the side of my screwdriver to fold these back, to fold the staples back down. So let's fold those back over. And ideally, a little small, like a small head hammer would work really good for this job. But seeing as how I forgot to grab one, I'm just going to use my screwdriver. So we'll see if we can get these bent back over so I can turn it over and show it to you guys. All right, guys. And I'm not going to do these perfect. I'm just going to get them good enough for you guys to be able to see the finished product. And then I'll get my hammer later. Okay, so here comes the big reveal. And I'm going to turn my phone back up so that you guys can see better. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Carol. Thank you, girls, for joining us. And there you have it, guys. So there's our $5 chalkboard. $5. So, and super cute. I just noticed too, guys, this is pretty lightweight. So if you've got an RV, I know Larry and I've had RVs off and on over the years, and I like to find cute things to put in those as well, and I always worried about the weight and how heavy something is. This is really lightweight, so it would even be cute to put in your RV. So, or maybe you want to take it to the office, or might be a cute teacher gift for Christmas. So be thinking, these would make cute gifts. So anyway, there's the $5 chalkboard. So I want to give just a minute and ask you guys, let me see if I can get this to stand. Hopefully. Come on. My brand new holder for my phone that's got a light on it that I'm not sure I'm real happy with. But anyway, I think that's good for now. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to take just a second here and watch the comments. If you guys have a question about making a chalkboard or the process or what you can and can't use, whatever, drop me a comment right quick and I will answer those on here live for you. So I'm going to watch for your comments. Let's see, Sherry, for my granddaughter, yes, Sherry, that is a great idea. Okay, ladies, Sherry's got a really good idea. So you could actually make these chalkboards for your grandkids. My grandbabies love playing school and teacher and all those things. So that's an absolutely wonderful idea. And these would make really nice birthday or Christmas gifts for $5. So you need to get to Hobby Lobby and see if you can find these. And I'm sure they've got other pictures that are on the clearance that you could use as well. This one just, I was really drawn to that white frame. I thought it was really cute. So that's why I picked that one up. So let's see. Olivia, do you chalk over the whole board? Oh, that's a really good question, guys. Yes, you want to. It's actually called seasoning your chalkboard, and I would have forgot to tell you guys that. I told my niece to do it, and then here I was going to forget you guys. To John, I'm sorry, and John, I'll say that, ladies and John. These would make great gifts. So John, maybe you got grandkids that would love it. Maybe your wife would love it. Maybe you should surprise her and make her one. Sorry about that. Anyway, John, you made me forget what I was saying. Oh, yes, seasoning your chalkboard. Seasoning your chalkboard. So what you want to do, and if I had a piece of chalk, I could show you guys, but you just turn your chalk sideways so that you're holding it the long way of the chalk, and you take your chalkboard and you start up in a corner. And I've got some teachers on here. I'm sure if Joette is still on, they can attest to the fact that this really does make a difference. So you just take your chalk, lay it on its side, lengthwise, and just pull it down to the bottom of your board, and then, you know, come and do your next section and the next section until you've done all of your chalkboard. And then you take your eraser and you erase all of that, and then you're ready to start using your chalkboard. Thank you so much for reminding me, because I would have forgot to tell you guys that. That's kind of important. So thank you for that. So that's a good question. And then Sherry's saying, I missed how many coats of paint? 2 coats. Sherry, do at least 2 coats. You can do a third one if you want, but I definitely wouldn't just do one. You want to do at least 2 coats. So that's that. Any other questions? John, do you have any questions? See, I was saying, ladies, do you have any questions? I've got to stop that. Where's a good place to get the chalk markers? Okay, John, I bought chalk markers today at Hobby Lobby. I can't remember if Walmart has them, but I know Hobby Lobby has them, and I don't even know for sure if like Office Depot and Staples, I can't say that I've ever seen them there, but Hobby Lobby has them. And here's the cool thing, I know you can order them on Amazon too, they come in all different colors. I saw a pastel set today, and then I saw one that had like red, white, blue, and maybe green. I think it was green. And then they've got jumbo markers that have the wider chisel tip on those. They've got medium thickness of markers. They got ones that have really thin lines. I even saw chalk pencils today, like a number 2 pencil, but with chalk in it. And I thought that was kind of neat. I've never bought those, but I thought it was neat. So that's a good place to get your chalk markers, is Hobby Lobby. And don't forget, you can use your 40% off coupon for those too. I used mine today. So that's that. And yes, Sherry, it is good to know about the seasoning. Okay, guys, John, thank you so much. John has shared a link, guys, a Hobby Lobby link to the chalk markers. So anybody wanting to order them, you can just hop on right there on the link. Thank you, John, for that. That's awesome. You can hop on and order your markers from there. Anybody else got any questions about chalkboards or the process or anything? I want to give you guys a minute here. If you don't have anything else, I've got one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. You probably saw last night that I created a new event for next Thursday night, which is August 2nd. And for my Oklahoma City friends, I'm going to be doing my next class is a sign making class. And I've got the sign so I can show it to you guys. Let me get where you guys can see it. This one that I made says kitchen. You get to pick. You can have the word kitchen on your sign, or you can have the word blessed on your sign. So if you come to the class, you are going to get to, the sign's actually going to be put together for you, but you'll get to paint your background and then stain over your background color if you want, and stain your frame. And then my sweet husband Larry is going to already have the holes pre-drilled for us in the letters, and then we'll just be attaching those with, I'm going to hold it up where you guys can see, like we put it on with little silver screws. So it's a little bit of a rustic flair, but it's super cute, much cuter in person than what you guys can tell. When I took the picture and posted it, pictures never look as good to me as the real thing. So this sign's kind of awesome. So anybody that is interested in that class, it's going to be next Thursday night in downtown Luther at the Urban 66 store there. Real sweet friend of mine, Tammy, owns the store, and we have classes in the back of her store, back in her like stockroom area. And we have a lot of fun. She and I provide snacks and drinks for everybody. And so you're going to get to make your sign. And the sign, guys, is, I think it's 30.5 inches long. And then it's about 8.5 inches in height. That's outside of frame to outside of frame. And for the sign, and we're providing snacks and drink, and the cost is $38. So if you are interested in taking that class, if you'll go on my page and find my events tab, or you can just scroll down, because I just shared it last night in a post as well. If you'll scroll down and either click that you're going, or leave me a comment that you want to come to class, I will send you a private message and get your email address from you, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice and find out from you whether you want your sign to say kitchen or blessed. So that's the next class that's coming up. And then after that, just so you guys know, kind of tell you, I want to share with you a little bit of the things that I've got lined up for classes coming up here in the next few weeks. I'm going to do probably week after next, we're going to do, you guys have probably seen them on Pinterest or on the internet. It's the porch sign that can just lean up against the house, or, I mean, you can use it indoors too, but probably be about 5 foot tall, maybe 6, depending on how tall it needs to be to accommodate our letters. but we're going to be making one of the tall signs that says welcome. So the sign is a vertical sign, and it's going to say welcome on one side, and then we're going to flip it around to the back side and have the back side say harvest. So that's the plan, and that will probably be week after next, but I'm going to try to start I'm trying to get one made pretty quick and get it posted so you guys can see it and then begin signing up for that class. And I've had a lot of requests for that one. So that one is probably going to be 2 classes so I can make sure I can get everybody in. So probably one of those will be held in Jones, and then the other one will be held over at Luther at Tammy's store. So that's coming up. And then I might sneak in one other everyday item. Then about mid-August, I'm going to switch over and we're going to start doing fall classes for fall things. That way, for everybody who likes to decorate, if you're like me, like about the first or second week in September, you don't really wait for it to be fall or autumn on the calendar. We'll go ahead and get started on some of our fall activities too. I know one of the things that we're going to be doing is a set of 3 wooden pumpkins that you'll be able to paint any way you want. So you can paint them, they can be just an orange traditional pumpkin. They could be white or gray or light green. You can have polka dots or stripes or plaid, or however you want to paint it. You'll be able to paint those any way you want. So we're going to do the 3 pumpkins for sure, and then I've been asked, got asked the other day to do a fall wreath class. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and sneak that one in too. And then I've got some other ideas for just some fall things that we'll be doing. But that gives you guys kind of an idea of what's coming up. We'll probably do the fall items through the remainder of September and maybe even into the first week in October. And then we'll switch gears and start doing Christmas classes where we make Christmas trees and a snowman and Santas and all that good stuff. So I have lots of fun classes planned for you guys, lots of things coming up. And for those of you, I keep hearing from my friends that are outside of the Oklahoma City metro area, I know you guys are wanting classes too. So I am working on a couple of different ways that I can do class with you guys too. So just bear with me. I promise it's coming. I'm not going to give you a date yet because there's a chance I might not make it and I don't want to disappoint you guys. But I am working on ways that I can do classes with you guys as well. And for all of my outside of the OKC area friends that are watching, or you're maybe catching this video on the replay, one of the ideas that I've thought about doing that a couple of my other creative friends are doing, and they say it's working pretty well, so I'd like some feedback from you guys, is doing, I could create a group and put everybody that's outside the Oklahoma City area in that group. You know, you would pay for the class, just like if you were here. I would put you in a group and then go live inside that group on Facebook. So that's one option that I'm looking at. So you guys give me some feedback and tell me. So I would basically be doing what I'm doing here, and if you have a question about how something's being done or you know, the next step or whatever, then you would just post it in the comments and I'll just watch the comments and answer you guys that way. So that's one of the things I'm about to run. So I don't know. I'm not completely in love with that idea, but that is one of the ideas. So let me know how you guys feel about that. So does anybody have anything else? Any questions about classes? If you guys have something that you've been really wanting to make and you're scared to make it on your own, and you'd like to see me do a class on that, drop me a line in the comments and let me know so I can get that on my list. So if you guys have any questions about classes or anything that's coming up that way, just drop me a comment and I'll get those answered. So if you guys don't have anything else, then hi to my sweet friend Larissa. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate that. If you guys don't have anything else, I'll go ahead and wrap up tonight. and then try to be back on with either maybe even starting to share some of my decorating ideas that I do here in my house. I might do that with you guys next instead of making something else. We might switch over and do decor next time, just decorating. So you guys give me some feedback and tell me some of the things that you would like to see me do or things that you would like to learn. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for following my page. And if you guys know anybody that would enjoy the project I did tonight, and maybe they would like to make chalkboards as gifts or for their home, would you guys tag them in the comments so that they can make sure and watch my video? I would appreciate that. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great rest of the evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.